Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me again. Well, Starmer's rattled, isn't he? I think you could even call him petrified. The rise and storming ahead of reform has really got under his skin. The reason I say that is because he's given this speech in Scotland at a conference, and you can see the news article here. And he's thrown everything under the sun at reform, calling them far right, criticising their policies, saying that they want to get you to pay for the NHS and all the usual political bullshit that comes out of these people's mouths when their back's against the wall. The sheer fact is that the Uni Party, Labour and Conservatives before them, and before the lefties jump out and say we've had 14 years of Tory failure, you look at the Labour Party before that and the Tories before that. It's been going on a lot longer. We've reached a point in our history where enough's enough. And Starmer, being of the Uni Party setup, which, let's face it, we've all had enough of, has come out and said far right, far right, far right is just an excuse to try and slap down and silence opposition. That's all it is. I've been called a far-right extremist. Anyway, somebody commented earlier and even accused me of not being a cab driver and said I'm some kind of paid stooge. Yeah, okay, whatever. There's just so much of this going on around everywhere. It's crazy. Now, far-right, has Starmer, I wonder, actually taken the time to read Reform's policies, or their contract with the people, as they call it? Some of their policies are actually left. Yes, you heard it, left. And some of their policies are right. If you look at the lefty policies and you look at like the more right-wing policies, there are actually elements of common sense in both, and they've actually taken that approach. It purely is common sense. As for the NHS being privatised, yes, there is a video doing the rounds from many years ago where Farage has said that the NHS should be privatised. But at the end of the day, and I really saw this with my own eyes when I was sitting in a local A&E with my own mother a couple of weeks ago, and I pointed this to her. There was a display board that came up, and there was 2 levels of directors. There was like 8 directors and executive directors, and I said that's the problem with the NHS. It's all top heavy. It gets invested in millions and millions and millions every year, but it all goes in the wrong place. Managers, directors, and not frontline nurses and doctors. It's a sham. It doesn't work anymore, you know. And Starmer complains about employment and that reform are going to be no good, but at the end of the day, when you tax the hell out of all of the businesses, they're going to leave and there's going to be no jobs for anybody. So all these things they're accusing reform of doing and not doing, Labour's actually causing themselves. They're a goddamn disaster, and it's quite obvious they're petrified. So I think Starmer needs to think again. Mind you, Starmer could just resign and get it all over and done with, couldn't he, really? Ah, well, let me know what you think in the comments. Have a look at these videos. I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.